Hello everyone, and welcome back to Thankful Thriftiness. My name is Marin for those of you who are new, and for those of you who have been around for a minute, I want to introduce you to my little baby. Now, I don't know, because we haven't actually filmed it yet, whether or not the birth story or this video is going to come out first, so be patient with me if this is redundant, I'm sorry, but I am just doing introductions in the order that they're being filmed, because it's been a hot minute since I've made a video, and I'm a little bit sleep deprived, as you can imagine. We are so in love with this little lady. She is really a good baby, honestly. I hear stories of newborns who wake up like 5 times in a night. She's really good. We got her down to like 1 and then very early in the morning. Things have been going pretty well. Super thankful that she sleeps so well, but still, even just getting up for one night feeding and then nursing and just taking care of a baby overall while I'm still recovering has been quite the adventure. So we're still sleepy, but just super thankful that things have gone the way that they are. She's pretty chill, especially when other people are around. She's like the most calm, content baby ever. And yeah, we love her dearly, and she's just so snuggly and sweet. It's crazy, people tell you, you don't understand the love of a parent until you have a kid, and it's almost instantaneous for some people. If it wasn't instantaneous for you, like, don't freak out. It can take a minute to bond with your baby, but for me, it was pretty instantaneous, and I just love being around her, love playing with her. I think, and my mom thinks, that she's trying to smile, which is so sweet, and I just can't wait to, well, okay, I take that back. I can wait to see her grow. She's almost a month old, and I've cried a couple times about that. I want her to stay this tiny forever, but at the same time, I also can't wait to see her grow up and start talking and see what her personality is. Thank you all so much for your sweet encouragement and prayers. It's meant so much to us, and thankful to be back. No clue what it's gonna look like coming up, scheduling videos, posting them with a tiny human. So thank you for your patience with us as we figure this out. And my top priority is always going to be a mom and a wife. And so, yeah, we'll see. Right now it's nice because she can sleep while I do this. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's going this well so far, so hopefully we can keep it up. Okay, so today's video, what's it about? Glad you asked. Today's video is about prepping for postpartum and a couple tips, as well as how to alter some recipes to make them a little healthier. The reason being is I need to make lactation cookies, and I was looking at the recipe and I'm like, that is way too much sugar. Maybe we should have the conversation now about altering recipes and getting comfortable with that. For postpartum prep, I have a friend who's having a baby at the end of December, a little Christmas baby, and I wanted to make up for her a few things that I found very helpful, but I didn't know about until I had my baby, and I didn't find a way to really prep this stuff ahead of time because I just didn't know about it. So we're gonna prep a few things for her, and meanwhile I'm going to show you how to make them. So first thing, you're gonna need some disposable nursing pads. Now, some people prefer using the disposable ones exclusively. I prefer to use the ones in the video up above. There's instructions on how to make them. But I found that turning these into little ice packs is really helpful when you're sore, when you're learning to nurse, which is not easy, by the way. That's harder than I thought it was gonna be, but thankfully things are getting better now. So if you're struggling with nursing in the beginning, don't feel like you're crazy, it's normal. So I'm just gonna start by removing these from their little packages and spreading them out flat. They don't wanna open up. Oh, there you go, on a cookie sheet. So let's talk about nursing a new baby for a second. There are a lot of mixed signals that you get researching online and even talking to people about nursing. So I'm just gonna tell you my experience a little bit, and hopefully it helps encourage you and make you not feel like you're crazy if you're going through it, and help you maybe avoid some pitfalls that I did not. So when I was in the hospital recovering from having my baby, a nurse came in, and she was a nurse and a lactation consultant at the same time. Really sweet lady, and I'm sure she's wonderful at what she does. She took one look at my latch and said, well, my baby's latch, and said, "Oh, you've got a good latch." It was not a good latch. I learned that later, but just from her quick glance, it seemed that was the case, and so I just carried on thinking, oh, I have this perfect latch, or my goodness, my brain. My baby has this perfect latch, and this excruciating pain I'm feeling is just a low pain tolerance. It's just me learning this, blah, blah, blah. Which it is true that nursing can be painful in the beginning, and often is. Despite what they tell you that it should only hurt for 60 seconds, some people, it does hurt throughout the nursing session for a while. But I was in the type of pain where I was bawling my eyes out every time I fed my baby. Partially due to the fact, and here's a huge pitfall to avoid, they told me that she would start cluster feeding right after I had her, actually a couple days after I had her. So basically the night we went home. And cluster feeding is basically where your baby eats a lot to encourage your body to produce more milk. And I said, okay, great. Well, they didn't tell me how long to let her cluster feed for. So I proceeded to let her cluster feed for 6 hours. And then she spit up a lot of what I had fed her, and I was just crying my eyes out. So it was either she was screaming her head off or I was crying my eyes out trying to feed her. And it was just not going well. Thank God, towards the end of that 6 hours, my husband came and said, just give her to me. We'll figure something out. She didn't like any passies at that time. Well, the ones I had tried anyways. We finally found one that works for her. But, which again, that is something you will get mixed signals about. For me, to save my sanity, I did give her a passy sooner than I wanted to. You know, they say to avoid nipple confusion, don't give them pacifiers until they're yada yada. I needed to sleep, and my baby needed to sleep. So, thankfully, that fixed that problem. She should be cluster feeding again coming up soon, so if I have a similar experience or like learn anything else, I'll let you know. But anyways, if your baby's cluster feeding, they had mentioned 3 hours. Let me know, moms, in the comments below. How long is it okay to let your baby feed and feed and feed, and then kind of cut it off and try a pacifier, try anything else? Because it is helpful to your body, but you just do not want to do it for 6 hours. So anyways, my point being is that caused a lot of soreness, and I needed to heal from that afterwards. So we kind of got on the schedule of pumping when feeding her when feeding, going back and forth, trying to get a better latch going until I could heal. And now we're at the point where I'm pretty much healed from that, and nursing is going better. It's hurting less. It's not painless yet, but it's just uncomfortable. And I'm just really thankful that things have leveled out. So if you're in a tough spot, hang in there, and if you need help, get help. You should not be having a breakdown trying to feed your baby. Okay, so now that these pads are all laid out, we are going to take, well, I'm using my Perry bottle that I cleaned out because I find this is the easiest way to do it. And I filled it with water, and I'm just gonna soak these and freeze them. It's that simple. I still find these super nice and comfy to wear after nursing, especially after more painful sessions. Oh, and it's also definitely Christmas time on this channel now, so cue the Christmas music. At one point too, I was pretty convinced that I was just going to have to pump and feed her from a bottle, and I had to come to a point where I was okay with that. Thankfully, it's not stayed that way, but the point was, if possible, that she would be getting breast milk, not formula, and I just had to be okay with that. But as I said, that didn't end up being the case, and I'm super thankful about that. But it was a good reckoning for myself to realize the point is to take care of my baby the best way I can, not to chase this ideal of how things are going to go, because often that doesn't work out. Okay, so I just set those to the side. I will, I just realized you can see my mess in the kitchen. Hold on. That's a little, well, now you can, never mind, hold on. That's a little better. So now we're going to make an ice pack for the mama's undercarriage using diapers. I found these super comforting. They gave me one at the hospital and I promptly came home and made some. I had a 2nd degree tear. I imagine though that this would be very helpful to any mom who just had a baby, maybe not a C-section mama. This just helps overall ease some of the swelling and pain that having a baby brings on. So I had a newborn diaper, I think, that they used for mine, but I'm gonna try these size 6s. I don't even know what this brand is. I bought it at a garage sale. But, I mean, it's gonna make a pretty decent size one, but is that a bad thing? I think it would be helpful either way. So I'm just gonna make up a few of these and hopefully my friend finds them helpful. Same method, you just lay it out, soak it with water, and voila. One more thing before I start doing this, I want to say to mamas who have torn, and maybe they give it to all the mamas who have had babies, but witch hazel pads, they gave them to me at the hospital. They are wonderful. So wonderful. I bought some more after I got out. I took home the rest that they had given me, but I also had my mother-in-law grab some from, I think, the pharmacy and bring them back. So if you're healing down there, if your doctor or midwife recommends it, I highly recommend them. They're very cooling and soothing when you've been through something like that. Okay, so to make these a little bit more convenient, I took the little diaper tab that holds the diaper closed. I tore one off and put it on this end to hold the sides together, and then put the other on this end. And I'm just gonna, I think it's fine to fold them in half before I freeze them. The nice thing about using these absorbent pads like diapers and the nursing pads for ice packs is that the material inside is meant to hold water. So the water is there doing the cooling, but it's not leaking all over the place, causing a mess. So I'm going to do up, I think, about 5 of these, maybe 6. I can fit more on here. Let's do 7, just in case. And then I'm gonna get going on the lactation cookies. Something I forgot to mention is that the diaper ones, you can put them underneath your underwear. Well, on the outside of your underwear, not inside, and they still work really well. And actually that's why I'm glad I used a bigger size diaper, because then it gives more coverage and you don't have to worry about keeping it in position as much. Okay, so there's that. I am looking at the recipe. I just found one on Pinterest because I've never made these before. I'll link it below if we like it. If we don't like it, I'll link something below. Hold on, does anyone else have the beef with? Oh, what's wrong? She moans a lot in her sleep and it's so sad. Shh, it's okay. She's so cute. She laughs in her sleep and then she cries in her sleep and it makes... What are they dreaming about? Does anyone know what newborns are dreaming about when they cry? Like, did the world run out of milk? Are you in a constantly wet diaper? Like, I have no clue. Okay, so yeah, so this calls, just to give you perspective, this calls for 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats, 12 tablespoons of butter. Isn't that like a stick and a half? Okay, so a stick is there. That's 8 tablespoons, so we need 8 tablespoons plus 4, so perfect. I have a stick and a half of butter right there. I'll just throw them in the microwave for a few seconds to soften them up. Sorry, my floor is really squeaky too. Are you waking up? Back to what we were saying. 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. It does call for that much butter, which I feel like is kind of a lot for a healthy recipe, but then it calls for 4 tablespoons of unrefined organic virgin coconut oil. If I were trying to make this healthier, I would add, actually, I think I shall. I'm going to add some applesauce to replace some of the fat. Now you do have to recognize and be careful and realize that changing up recipes like this can make them taste different. You might not like them as much, you might like them as much. You don't know, you kind of have to experiment. But pumpkin and applesauce can replace some fats in some things. And so this is about, I think about half a cup. I'm not comfortable replacing a whole stick of butter with applesauce. So what I think we're gonna do is we're just gonna get rid of this little guy. I'm gonna toss it in the fridge. We're going to skip the coconut oil and the extra quarter cup of butter, and we're just gonna do half a cup of butter, half a cup of applesauce. So next on our road to making a healthier baked good, sugar. Where's the sugar? 1.5 cups of organic cane sugar. Now I'm looking at 1.5 cups of cane sugar against 3 cups of oats, 1.5 cups of unbleached organic all-purpose flour. There is as much sugar as there is of flour in this recipe. I don't need a super sweet cookie. All I want is to not taste straight oats, and there's also chocolate chips in this. So adding the applesauce is also gonna add some extra sweetness. So what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna cut the sugar in half. Now that could be taking a big risk, but I know either way, I mean, if worst comes to worst, I can drizzle honey on these cookies, but they're gonna have chocolate chips. They're gonna be fine. So we're gonna half that sugar, so we're gonna do 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And then it calls for 1 large egg plus 1 large egg yolk. Thank God my neighbor saved me because I was out of eggs, and bless her heart, she brought me over a couple eggs. So you can substitute, you'll have to look up how much it is. You can substitute eggs for flaxseed and water. There's a certain ratio. I'm not gonna risk that with this because A, I want eggs in here, and B, I think that it can change the structure of something baked a little bit more than I'm comfortable with, and I'm already messing with it with the applesauce. I think that's it. We're definitely adding the whole 1.5 cups of dark chocolate chips because dark chocolate chips in my family are a freebie. They do not constitute as candy or sugar. What is something in your family that doesn't constitute as candy or sugar that other people might think is candy or sugar? The main part of these cookies that increases lactation lack of sleep equals bad grammar. Brewer's yeast powder. Hopefully this is the same thing that they call for in the recipe. Flax meal and oats. The recipe is pretty similar to a normal cookie recipe, so I'm just gonna get rolling.
Christmas is coming, the snowflakes will be falling. It's the most wonderful time of year. So hang up your stockings, put the tinsel on the tree, because Christmas is coming, my dear. It's the only time of year the reindeer fly. You can see them on their sleigh ride across the sky. Gather all your family round, or go out and paint the town. It's the only time of year the whole wide world turns upside down. So baby, light a fire and we'll toast the night away, because Christmas is coming our way.
Waking up, perfect timing. So the cookies are done. I'm going to give one a try. They definitely look different than the pictures in the blog, and I pretty much think that's because the applesauce changed the consistency and the structure of the cookie, but they still look, and maybe I know that they taste delicious. Okay, I'm not pregnant anymore. I can try cookie dough. They're pretty fresh out of the oven. As you can see, they look a little different, but they're gonna be yummy. So, let's see. Oh, just get a load of that. Talk about beautiful. Alright, if it doesn't fall apart completely on me, there's literally chocolate all over me. Those are super good. And I honestly think I could cut down even more on the sugar next time. The applesauce really has enough sweetener in and of itself. And I meant to say, sorry I've had chocolate all over my face. That's not what I meant to say. And I meant to say, while I was going over the different substitutions, if I had access to large amounts of honey or maple syrup or coconut sugar, I would totally wipe out all the refined sugar and use that instead. But that stuff's expensive, y'all. So the point of these was just to make them more healthy, so I don't feel guilty eating these to boost milk supply. I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, whether that be with postpartum hacks and things you can make ahead of time, or how to make substitutions to make recipes healthier. And look forward to some awesome Christmas content coming up soon, Lord willing. I don't know how much we're gonna make, but we have a few fun videos planned. Thank you to all of those of you who voted on what types of videos you'd like to see. Yes, I recognize my fingers are covered in chocolate. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!